Screen flow. God, I hate how they do that.
Recording in progress.
Okay, that was quite funny. Right, screen flow is now recording. Good. All right. So, we will do one last attempt at our Twitter thing today. So if you tweet something, the most likes on the tweet will get another 50 house points by the end of the session. So this will be pretty good. And can you guys stop whispering in the background, please? It's incredibly distracting. Okay, cool. Let's get started. So this is what the house point table looks like so far. We have Incendio in the clear lead. I don't think they're going to be overtaken, to be honest. We have a house cup, which has just arrived. We have gifts that have arrived that are in the process of being ordered for everyone in the winning house, but there is still everything to play for between Lumos and Impervious and Incendio, potentially. Impervious needs to be updated. Yes, probably. A few community wins. So Mario has very kindly put a very nice write-up about how to find an editor. I'm sure someone can find a link to it on Circle and stick it in the chat, just in case you guys haven't seen that. So that's very good. Well done, Mario, and thank you very much for that. James also had a really nice comment about like impact on a YouTube channel, and that's always really nice to see. I've watched your video before going to my Big 4 interviews. Would like to thank you so much, as your video definitely helped me prep. I've got both EY and PwC, and I'm in a dilemma which one's the right for me. And that's really cool. It's always nice getting those sorts of comments. Helps us feel that what we're putting out there is worth something, not just beyond the numbers and stuff. Because often, like when you're doing YouTube, it can be very easy to just like see views as a number, but really realizing that like every view is like a person who has given us at least 30 seconds of their time to register as a view, to watch our thing. I think that's quite humbling. Always useful to remind ourselves of that, especially as our channels grow up. A few more things. Basically, tomorrow is the last official day of the course, and so we have a social club in the morning, the final social club session for the official course, and then we've got our PTYA Academy Awards at 4 p.m. So this time tomorrow, it will be our Academy Awards, where we will be giving out prizes and potentially more house points. You all know at the end of Philosopher's Stone, you know, Slytherin thinks they won the House Cup, and they're all like celebrating and stuff, but then Dumbledore is like, yes, well done, Slytherin, but recent something must be taken into account. And as such, I have a few last minute points to award. So that could potentially be a thing tomorrow. So Incendio House, don't be like Slytherin. Don't celebrate just yet. There is still everything to play for. We also have an extra workshop. It's not really an extra workshop. It's like our first or second official PTYA community workshop, which is a guest workshop that's going to be being done after the cohort ends. As a reminder, you guys are all invited to our PTYA community. You are members for life. It's free for all. Dragonfruit Media is a like YouTube production company that manages David Perel's channel, Nat Eliason's channel, and Noah Kagan's channel. And so they're going to be talking to us all about YouTube retention and the scientific method, how to use retention data to improve your videos. This is something that they look at in anal detail with David and Noah's channel in particular. And those channels have grown quite fast over the last few months. So that'll be quite interesting. We'll be talking about a framework for incremental growth, deciphering common patterns in retention starts, A/B testing, editing concepts for retention, and lots of Notion templates. So that's free for all of our students, all of the alumni of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy on Friday, the 30th of July. Do we have a time for that yet? It's at 5 p.m. BST. So you can stick that in your calendar. If you haven't yet downloaded the community calendar, more instructions will be in your emails about how to download the community calendar at some point in the next few days. Right, this is the very last official live session of the course. It's been 6 weeks. You guys have been absolutely smashing it. This is probably the most engaged cohort we've ever had. They're definitely the most homework's done in any cohort we've ever had. So well done for continuing to do the work. There is always a huge like exponential half-life decay in people getting excited about YouTube at the start of the cohort, and then life getting in the way. And not really making the time for the videos. But the fact that we still have over 100 people here is pretty sick. And the fact that our video feedback team is still swamped with video feedback to give, despite the fact that we added like 7 people to it this time around, is a very, very good sign. It means you guys have been putting in the videos, putting in the work to do the videos, and hopefully having fun along the way. In week 6, on Monday, we talked about monetizing and growing our empire. And today is sort of an integrative session where I share a few final truths We'll hopefully answer any and all questions that you guys have, and we'll try and put everything together to basically give us the best foundation moving forwards. Because to be honest, as we've said time and time again, you can't really expect anything fun to happen to your YouTube channel in the 6 weeks of the course. But the point of the 6 weeks of the course is to set you up for the next 2 years. Whether you're starting YouTube for the first time or whether you've got a channel of 100,000, hopefully you've all learned something and taken something away from these last 6 weeks that you can apply in terms of systems, in terms of mindsets, in terms of strategies to grow your channel moving forward. Tomorrow is our Part-Time YouTuber Academy Awards. More details about that will be going out in an email later today. And yeah, stick that in your calendar because it will be there. And as a reminder, this week's assignment is community content creation. Your job is to produce an unscripted video. This should be the easiest video of the entire cohort. You don't need to script anything. All you need to do is get a handful of questions, at least 5, maybe 10, maybe 15, however many you can get. Ask your friends, ask your audience, ask your family, ask whoever. Make them up. Get a list of questions from Google. Use that 36 questions to fall in love exercise that you might have seen an article about many years ago. Just basically do an unscripted Q&A, and hopefully this will show you that it is very easy to make community content. And if you make 50%, 25 to 50% of your content community based, probably closer to 25% if you want to grow. If you make 1 in 4 videos a community video, it means you only need 3 proper videos every month, because one of them can just be a Q&A or a day in the life or like an assumptions video, or there's all sorts of stuff that the community will be asking you for. These are videos that we make to deepen the relationship that we already have with our fans. So integrate and grow with your new system. Let's get things started. Now, before we start, a few hard truths. Last time I referenced this was probably in week 1. And so it's worth bearing in mind everything we know about YouTube. How do you grow on YouTube? The only way to grow on YouTube is to make videos that people want to watch. The only way to grow on YouTube is to make videos that people want to watch. If you're making videos, but they're videos that people don't want to watch, then there's no way you're going to grow on YouTube. Is YouTube easy? What's the answer? People in the chat. Is growing on YouTube easy? Is making YouTube videos easy? For the beginners who've been doing this over the last 6 weeks, what do you reckon? Correct. It is not. It is not easy at all. You have to do filming, you got to do editing, you got to do writing, you got to do storytelling, branding, public speaking. All of these things are skills that people do as their full-time jobs. But as YouTubers, we have to be a jack of all trades. We have to combine elements from all of these and do them to an exceptionally high standard so that we can stand out on what is a pretty saturated and crowded platform. But to be honest, it's still early days. So YouTube is not easy. These are all specialized skills. And I want to share a segment from one of the Q&As that Elizabeth did in the last cohort, which a lot of people found useful and helps us answer the question of like, is YouTube easy? Like, what if I don't feel like making a video? So let's make sure my sound is being shared, and I'll just play this.
Like a stressful day, or like, you're really not feeling, you're just like, oh God, I need to film. And like, you want to have that really positive or good vibe or your vibe. And you're like, you know what, I just got to do it. Like, if so, how much does that happen? And like, other than just getting on with it, is there any other thing that you just feel like, are you good at like just getting through it?
I love this question, especially because it was has this ever potentially happened? This happens, I think, only in my last 2-3 videos have I actually felt. So I was talking to someone yesterday on a one-to-one call, and they were like, oh, I just don't know, I don't find this too much fun. And I'm like, 3 videos. Okay, what if I told you in all honesty, so I have like 32 or 33 videos. For my first 20, 21, 22, I was crying before putting it out. No, before filming it, before putting it out, after filming it, because I was crying and I was texting Angus saying, I just put 20 hours of work into something and it's so shit, like it's so bad. Anyone who's going to watch this is going to think, what is this idiot doing? And this cannot ever see the light of day. It's so obvious and so terrible, and I hate it. And I hated it before doing it because I knew I didn't have my script. I hated it after filming it because I was like, oh God, that was so bad. And I hated it after editing it because I wasted so much time where I could be working or studying going into something terrible. So this was my process every single video. The only joy that I got was when people would say, oh, this is actually okay and this is nice and the videos would do well. The process itself was a shit show and a pain and the worst thing I have ever been through. It was terrible. Terrible. Did I ever want to film? No, I dreaded it. I hated it. I hated the angle. I had my old camera, my old lens. Oh my God, my old lens would distort my face. So I would look weird. And I was like, I hate this. Like, people will think that I look like this because no one's commenting on it. They're like, oh my God. So it's just, there was so much that went into me despising turning on my camera. But I think it was more like the bigger picture for me. And that's when, like, with 3 videos, I would say so strongly, please don't say that you hate this yet, because you do, you absolutely do. But there's a huge chance that if you that will change. And I will say now, like, I look forward to filming videos in a way. Am I tired? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had over 100 hours of work for the last few weeks. I'm exhausted. I always film last thing at night. So I'm always putting out my camera at 9 p.m. after 13, 14 hours of like doing shit all day. And I'm dead. My mom looks at my videos and she's like, I can see your eye bags from here. You don't look, your eyes aren't shining. And I'm like, where do you want this shine to come from? I'm so dead. You don't realize. You should be happy I'm even doing this. So yes, that happens all the time. It goes back to my only principle, which is I don't take any excuses for myself. I'm like, you're going to do this. I don't care. And working through that pain is my only like way of going through it. And then I hate myself enough. So if I in the beginning, I used to put it off and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do this later. Or like, I just don't feel I'm going to start feeling better. That will never happen. Like I fully believe that for irrational feelings, you will never get trained out of them. You just need to ignore them. And me thinking that my face looks weird and that my videos are terrible and that everyone in the internet will hate me and I'm going to go in the news and I'm going to be like the worst thing that ever happened since like CERN invented the internet. That's all irrational and it won't go away. So it's up to me to like shut that off and do the work as soon as possible. And you just get, I think, better at it.
Yeah.
Put on loud music when you're putting out on your softbox. Like if you're lucky and unlucky and having to put a setup up, put on some loud music, sing along to it, and just like cry on the inside and do the video. Is my tip. People won't notice except your mom. So if I don't look tired, that's great because trust me, I am.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. I think I especially, and maybe some other people need to hear that. Just like, look, you're always going to feel like you're never always going to want to do it. So just get it done. And you should be sponsored by Nike or something because you just do it. It seems like your catchphrase, which is great. It's honestly, it's just honest. So yeah, thank you for that. Like
Alrighty.
day or like, you know, you
So
may not feel
useful advice from Elizabeth right there. And I'm glad we recorded that clip for to use in this session forever, because I think it is a pretty solid summary analysis of what it can feel like to record a video. And I think one thing that I didn't realize when we first started running these cohorts is because I was like at the time 3 years into doing YouTube videos, I'd actually kind of forgotten the emotional side of it, the side of it where it's like actually quite a lot of effort to film a video. And if you haven't been doing that sort of thing for 3 years, it can be a bit overwhelming at times. But I really like the thing that Elizabeth said, which is that what she said to herself was, I have decided, I've made a commitment to doing this. There are no excuses. I'm going to put out a video every single week. And yeah, that's how you do it. And Elizabeth's channel is now like 75,000 subscribers or something ridiculous like that, making decent chunks of money. That's what happens when you do stuff consistently and try and make it good, but sort of consistency above all else. Having said that, a few other things on this note. So success obviously doesn't happen overnight. We've seen the stats: 1 million subscribers, 4,000 videos; 100,000 subscribers, 1,000 videos; 10,000 subscribers, 400 videos; 152 videos, the average channel to reach their first 1,000 subscribers. If you're a beginner and you're struggling with video number 3, don't worry. Get to video number 153 and you will stop struggling with it, because that's kind of what it takes. And these were the stats for our channel. But even then, even with the accelerated growth rate of my channel, it was still 52 videos before we hit the first 1,000 subscribers. And so if you have made less than 52 videos at this point and you are thinking about giving YouTube up, please don't. Like, you know, my life would be radically different if I had decided somewhere between videos 1 and 52 that, oh, this YouTube thing isn't working, I'm going to give up. And here we are, now talking to 114 of you and having a great time and hanging out with the team. And it's just like life has just been completely changed for me as a result of the YouTube channel. Elizabeth's life has changed as a result of her YouTube channel. My housemate Sheen started YouTube like 3 or 4 months ago. Her life has changed already as a result of the YouTube channel. You know, this is the sort of stuff that can happen. We just hit the 1.95 million subscriber mark, nearly on 2 million, hopefully in the next week or so, but 390 videos. These are 390 public videos probably got a handful of unlisted videos, and I've probably made about 400 videos on top of this for various online courses. So, making a video for an online course is fairly similar to making a YouTube video. And so like the overall number of reps that I've gotten in over the last 4 years has been about 800 videos. And so that'll give you some perspective. And hopefully the quality of those is pretty okay as well. The graphs are always going to look exponential like this. Like if you're at the start of your journey, if you're in the middle of your journey, it's just really, really, really hard. It's impossible to appreciate what the numbers could potentially look like in the future. This is genuinely a problem I'm having right now, where I find it so hard to imagine that our business could be growing. Like we're definitely on like an exponential growth trajectory. We're going to do 3 million in revenue this year. And I'm just thinking, okay, next year, everything's going to fall down. Like how can you possibly go higher than 3 million? But that's the thing. Like when you're on that growth curve, like you can see what's behind you and you can be like, okay, it's worked so far, but it's really, really hard to see what's ahead of you. And what I would say is one video every week for 2 years, and I guarantee your life will change. But you have to have the faith and the patience to kind of keep going with it. Now, what is the point of this course? Basically, the point of this course is to give you the tools, to give you the system, to give you the mindset that you need to set yourself up for the next 2, 3, 4 years of being on YouTube. This course is not a magic bullet. Like, hopefully we made it very clear on the page where you guys bought the course that this course is not a magic bullet. There's no special secret sauce that is suddenly going to transform your YouTube channel, except outsourcing editing, which lots of you have yet to do and should do like from now on. Apart from outsourcing editing, there is no magic bullet that will help your YouTube channel grow. But hopefully what the course does and what we've tried to do is give you a system to make it as effortless as possible to make videos every week, and a little bit about how to make those videos actually good. And potentially, if you're one of our advanced students, a little bit about how to scale beyond that once you're comfortable making at least one good video every week, how to do things like outsource editing and repurpose and monetize your audience in an interesting way off of YouTube. So what have we gone over? We've gone over how to find our niche, how to refine our niche, how to build a studio, camera confidence. We've had a ton of guest workshops around speaking, and we've talked a little bit about how to be more productive as a creator, and that's more stuff we're going to go over today. We talked about how to conceive. I talked about how to capture and find ideas, how to generate ideas and refine them into titles and thumbnails. We've talked about hooks. We've talked about scripts, and we've talked about how to add flair to our videos to make them more interesting. We've talked about how to parallel process, like treat our videos as slow burns rather than as heavy lifts. We talked about content calendars and scheduling, and we talked about how we can distribute stuff to multiple social platforms. We've talked about how we can expand, how we can build an email list, how we can grow our newsletter, how we can go on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram by using these pillar pieces of content. And we had Joe Gannon's guest workshop all about repurposing. And we've talked about how you can outsource to a freelancer and ultimately how you can build your own team. But the first step for that is outsourcing your editing to freelancers. And we talked about the strategy for monetization and how you can get partnerships and how you can potentially build your own products. But all that is stuff that happens further down the line once you've got an established audience. But coming back to our main point, the only way to grow on YouTube is to make videos that people want to watch. And that gets us into this debate about quantity versus quality. Should you make one good video a month, or should you make like 4 mediocre videos a month? Like all of that kind of stuff. And the way that I think of it is that for 99% of people, quality comes from quantity. All of this stuff, the writing, the filming, the scripting, the editing, the public speaking, the camera skills, all this kind of stuff, it benefits from quantity. The more of it you do, when you're at the point where I am, where I've made 800 videos, you're pretty confident. I'm pretty confident I can make a video. When it comes to, we were plotting out a course earlier today thinking we should do a course about how to work with a personal assistant. And it's like we can have that idea and draft it out and we know it's going to be good. We know the videos are going to be good because I've been making videos, 800 videos for the last 4 years. The quality comes from the quantity. And to be honest, every single creative art benefits from quantity as well. For example, if you're an artist, you need to just paint a shit ton of stuff to actually get good at it. It would be really weird for you to say, oh, I'm not going to paint a single thing unless I know the very first one or the very third one or even the 50th one can actually be good. If you're a writer, it would be really, really freaking dumb for you to say, I'm not going to write anything unless I know it's going to be a masterpiece and hit the New York Times bestseller list. You just got to write. And as you do more and more writing, you get better at writing. And then your writing gets to a point, once you've put in the quantity, to get to a point where it's actually good. The old school sort of mode, the old school way of approaching businesses generally was cave mode. I like to call it. It's like, I've got an idea for a thing. I'm going to go into my cave. I'm going to build my thing. 3 years later, I'm going to come out of my cave and I'm going to unveil my product to the world and people will want to buy my thing or read my book or whatever. that strategy really doesn't work anymore in any kind of creative sphere of life at all, or in business. And the new school way of doing this is to iterate in public. It's to get a minimal viable product. It's to talk to lots of people. It's to really kind of understand the audience, figure out exactly what they want. And it's about shipping stuff and continuing to ship stuff over time and iterating and making it slightly better each time. Can't remember who it was who says it, but one of these like Y Combinator investor type people says that if you are not absolutely embarrassed by the first product that you put out to the public, it means you have launched too late. The stuff you produce should be an embarrassment to you, because that means you've shipped it on time, you've shipped it early, you've shipped it often enough, and you can iterate over time. So it's not really about the quality of an individual video. It's about the quality of our videos overall, and that only improves by putting out lots and lots of them. One of the things that holds us back that we often talk about is this disease of perfectionism. I was hearing about some of the stuff that's been happening in the house master sessions, which I hear have been well attended and pretty good. But there are still some people who haven't done a single like homework assignment, haven't made a single video. People who are like, oh, well, I was planning to go through the course first and get all the theory, and then I wanted to set up my lights and camera and make sure the whole set design was sorted, the whole shebang. And we're in week 6 of the course, and if you haven't made a video, you're suffering from this disease of perfectionism, thinking that video number 1 makes a difference in the grand scheme of things. No one cares what video number 1 is. People start to care what video number 231 is. So the more you let your disease of perfectionism hold you back from creating content, just things don't work out that way. Things don't work out that way. You publish stuff, you put stuff out on the internet, and you get feedback. That's one of the really nice things about YouTube. You can write a blog post, stick it on your website, and no one's ever going to read it. Like, it's very hard to get feedback on that blog post. But you can publish a video, and because the YouTube algorithm is a thing, some people will see that video. Some people will comment on that video. Some people will tell you how the video did. You can literally see the graphs that show you how your video is performing and which bits of the video people left out. And you should attend the community workshop on the 30th of July, where Michael and his crew from Dragon Fruit are going to be talking about exactly how they use retention graphs to improve their videos. But that's like the incredible thing about YouTube. Like, you get that real-time feedback. Now, going back to this point, quality comes from quantity. I should have ended on a cadence there. Going back to that main point, quality comes from quantity. I'm going to talk much more about this, but first, let's do a breakout room. This is the momentum breakout room. Getting to the end of the course is an achievement, but you might be anxious about suddenly needing to find your own motivation to produce videos. So spend the next 10 minutes in breakout rooms discussing what you can do to ensure that you keep the momentum going. What are the main points of friction that you're currently having, and ask for advice on how you're going to minimize those points of friction. You've got to take it into your own hands. Like, we can only hold your hand so far. You do need to put in the motivation and the effort yourself to make videos for the next 2 years. And thinking about that in advance, like, what are the things that are potentially going to hold you back from that? One question that I really like is, how surprised would you be on a scale from 0 to 10 if a month from now you haven't been uploading 1 video a week? Genuinely ask yourself. In fact, I'd love for you guys to post in the chat. How surprised would you be on a scale of 0 to 10 if 1 month from now you realized you haven't been posting 1 video a week? How surprised would you be on a scale of 0 to 10? Good. We have lots of 9s and 10s. You guys would be very, very surprised if you didn't manage it. That's really good. Now, if you're anything less than an 8 or a 9 out of 10 in terms of surprise, i.e., you wouldn't be surprised if you didn't manage to film the videos, you want to ask yourself, what are the top 3 reasons that I might not a month from now? What are the top 3 reasons that could have happened in my life for me to have not made a video every week? What would those top 3 reasons be? That would be another thing worth writing down in the chat. So what do you guys reckon? We've got procrastination. We've got Abhijit, who would be 0 out of 10 surprised if he didn't manage to do the videos. Moving house. Yeah, fair enough. Not enough space to set stuff up. Interesting. Lack of clarity, existential angst. A big film project comes along. Yeah. Low performance on videos. Ooh. Random life events. Got a postgrad exam. Sudden loss of health. Lots of friction with gear and space. Still no concrete subject idea. Yeah, mate, subject idea evolves over time. Like, sometimes YouTubers make videos for a year before they realize what subject they actually want to niche down to. Winning the lottery. Want to outsource editing. Okay, so step 1 was, how surprised would you be on a scale of 0 to 10 if you didn't manage this? Step 2 is, what are the top 3 reasons why you might not manage it? And step 3, which is something to think about in your breakout rooms, is what can you do right now to reduce the risk of those top 3 things happening? Yes, injury, death, random life events, random tsunami comes along and destroys your house. Fine, there's not a lot you can do about that. But For most of us, that's not going to be the thing that stops us from making videos for the next month. What would be the main reasons as to sorry, once you know what the main reasons are as to why you might not succeed, what are the things that you can do right now to mitigate the chance of that happening? How can you set yourself up for success? So if we can go into breakout rooms, we'll do that for 10 minutes. We'll give you some warnings. And yeah, I hope you guys find this useful. All right, welcome back, everyone. Love to hear. Oh, oops, my video's gone. Welcome back, everyone. Love to hear what you gleaned from the Bacon breakout rooms. Any insights? Please do post them in the chat. Ooh. Someone's mashing their face against a keyboard, aren't they? So we've got the spotlight effect, Kanban boards. Most of us are looking for editors to save time. Nice. Now that now I've had a chance to talk it out, I'm no longer a zero. Excellent. Find your why to combat procrastination. Sophie was very inspiring, apparently. Well done, Sophie. Get an editor and get over my desire to creatively control the entire process. Agreed. Public commitment. Absolutely need to outsource video editing. 100%. Outsource editing. Taking forever to film. I think a teleprompter would help. Ooh, interesting. I am not too bullish on the teleprompter thing, but we can talk about that at the end. Batching, cut up the video into pieces. Nobody cares about jump cuts. Yep, absolutely. Jump cuts are absolutely a staple of YouTube. People are used to seeing jump cuts. I love my teleprompter on my smartphone. Oh, interesting. Oh, no, sorry. Hey. Batching, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if I failed, but I'm going to do my very best not to. Rent a building with me. Yeah, that could work. Let's do it. Not worrying if I have acne or don't look the best, lol. Yeah, man. You can always fix it in post. No, I'm kidding. I always have like spots on my nose. It's really annoying. I watch the videos and I'm like, why is there a spot on my nose? But whatevs. I don't think anyone else seems to care because no one comments on it in the videos. Anyway, back to our main point. The only way to grow on YouTube is to make videos that people want to watch. Now, the other hard truth here is that consistency is table stakes. Consistency is the bare minimum that you need to succeed on YouTube, but consistency is necessary but not sufficient for growth on YouTube. Consistency alone and just making a load of videos is not actually going to help you grow on YouTube. The reason quantity of videos helps is because quantity makes your videos better, hopefully. But if you're just filming the same sort of video again and again and again and not changing anything, then you're trying to do that thing where, it's not deliberate practice. You're not actively improving your skills over time. You're passively hoping your skills over time will improve. I've been guilty of this for the last 3 or 4 years when it comes to the piano and the guitar. When I sit down on the piano to play something, I am not stretching myself. I'm not actively trying to improve. I'm just playing stuff. I'm playing stuff in the key of D major, which is my favorite key. Other than C major is fine. It's easy, but it just looks less impressive when you're not playing black notes. So I play everything in D major. I play a cheeky 1, 5, 6, 4 progression, improvise over the top of it a little bit, sing a few songs, sing some James Arthur, sing some Disney. It's all the stuff I've been able to do for the last 5 years. But I just sit at the piano and I noodle away. The same on the guitar. Bang out some Ed Sheeran, bang out some Castle on a Hill, bang out some George Mayer once in a while, but John Mayer once in a while, but not the good stuff, not the really hard stuff, the really easy stuff, just playing a chord and trying to sing along. I have not improved at the guitar or the piano over the last 4 years because I've been consistently playing the piano and the guitar, but I haven't actually been trying to improve. And that's the key here. Consistency is necessary, but not sufficient for growth. Consistency is not enough. If you're an artist and you just try and paint the same thing again and again and again, maybe you'll get better at painting that same thing, but you won't actually improve your skills. If you're a writer and you write crap every time and don't actively try and improve, you're just going to be writing crap for the rest of your life. It's hard to improve writing just by default without feedback. If you're a sportsman, if you're a football player, yes, you can kick a ball around every single day and your abilities to kick a ball around will improve. But it's when you stretch yourself, when you go into that discomfort area, that is when you get growth. if you want to play video games, you want to play video games for a living, and you're stuck like, and you don't bother doing drills or increasing your APMs or, you know, doing the things that the pro gamers do, you're going to be stuck at exactly the same level. And so the really bad news is if you're consistent, but you're still not growing as fast as you'd like, it just means that your videos aren't good enough. And this is the hard truth. Most of us in the course, we're still beginners. We've not been consistently posting videos every single week for the last 2 years. But I would say about 6 months into the journey, if you've been posting videos each week, you should start to see some momentum. And if you're not, if you're posting videos every week for 6 months and you haven't yet started to see some momentum, started to see a growth in the numbers and the comments, it just means your videos aren't good enough. And that is a hard pill to swallow because, you know, the advice we'd be giving to beginners is, oh, just make videos. It's fine. Consistency. But, you know, I've been consistent on the guitar and piano the last 5 years, haven't improved one bit because I haven't been actively trying to stretch my abilities to improve my videos. Either your videos aren't good enough or your expectations are wildly off base. We had a question in one of our exec calls yesterday. I was showing a friend of mine's channel that's grown to 600,000 subscribers in a year. And I was talking about like all the amazing things they were doing. I can't remember who it was, but they asked something like, oh, well, if they're doing so well, then why haven't they grown that much on YouTube? And I was like, I was shocked. I was like, 600,000 subscribers in 1 year, like with like, I don't know, 50 videos. That is like absolutely freaking insane levels of growth on YouTube. And so if our expectations are that 600,000 subscribers in a year is doable, that's just so wildly off base that like we're not going to bother going on the YouTube journey if we don't have a dose of realism about what it takes to grow on YouTube, which is why I always flash up that slide, 152 videos on average to hit 1,000 subscribers. But if your expectations are not wildly off base because you've seen that slide, if you're consistent, but you're still not growing, it just means your videos aren't good enough. The good news is that good enough is actually easier on YouTube than in most other fields. What does it mean for a video to be good enough? Basically, it just means that people need to click on the video and people need to watch the video. But the reason YouTube is easier than others is because video as a platform is growing. Every month, more and more people, especially in parts of the developing world these days, are going on the internet. Video as a platform is always growing. Reading as a platform is falling. TV as a platform is falling. Podcasts and video are growing at a ridiculous rate. YouTube is also easier than other things because of the algorithm. There is almost no other field in which you can just publish something for free without asking anyone for permission, and your work will just automatically get seen by people. Like the objective of the YouTube algorithm is to keep people on YouTube and to keep them watching stuff that they like. And so it's so hard to find anything else in which you can just make something and people will watch it. Like marketing your video or selling your video is just not a thing you have to worry about because the algorithm is there doing that work for you. If you start a business, build it and they will come is not a successful growth strategy. It's not a viable strategy. Build it and hope that people will notice is not a viable strategy for running a business. But create a video and hope that people will find it is actually a viable strategy for YouTube thanks to the algorithm. So the algorithm is like the best thing and also the worst thing about YouTube. YouTube is also easier than other platforms because the analytics is just so ridiculously, insanely strong. We have a course on our part-time YouTuber Academy with a company called AMA that we've hired to do analytics for our channel for the last few months, almost a year now, actually. No, about 6 months. And that course is a deep dive into exactly how to use analytics to grow your channel. But to be honest, you can get the main stuff. Just go on YouTube Studio. They will literally show you, here is how your videos are doing. This is your thumbnail click-through rate. You know, we had a video that we put out yesterday. I'll show you. It was, oh no, I'm on the wrong YouTube account. I hate it when this happens. There is stuff like the analytics. Oh, God damn it. The analytics are just like insanely useful when it comes to YouTube. Let's have a look at this video. Ooh, Canon R3, nice. This video, how much money I spend each month as a YouTuber, it didn't have that title initially, it didn't have this thumbnail initially, and it was like a 9 out of 10 video. And we looked at the analytics and we were like, oh, okay, let's look at the engagement on this video. The watch time is really good. This video, the average watch duration is really high. So this is objectively a good video. Once people are watching it, they are continuing to watch it for longer. Therefore, we know the video is actually good. But when we looked at reach and looked at impression click-through rate, it was pretty crap. Like for the first few hours, it was like 3 or 4%. YouTube has shown this video to 931,000 people. YouTube has been doing their bit. I cannot complain that, oh my God, YouTube's being mean to me. YouTube has literally shown my title and thumbnail to 931,000 viewers, and 4.2% of them have clicked through. to get 38.7 thousand views. Like, that's not very good for us. For us, for a video to do really well, it's going to have a 10% click-through rate. And I know that we could have got a better title and thumbnail, but we chose a shitty title and a shitty thumbnail, and the video bombed at the start. But the good news is YouTube has literally told us this. And so yesterday, Angus and I and Christian were frantically messaging on Slack to be like, why is this video doing so crap? Like, we could change the title, change the thumbnail, try this, try that. We're doing all these things. And now that we did a few changes, we can now see the sort of the trajectory starting to grow up. So we've used YouTube Analytics to identify exactly what was going wrong with our video, because they've literally told us. We've done an amateur amount of like, psychoanalysis on these numbers, and we've made changes that are making this video perform better. And so it started off as a 9 out of 10 video. It then went up to 8 out of 10. And if we look at these numbers, 87K compared to 89K, this is actually probably going to climb up even further, because I think this video is a banger. I think it's really solid content. We also forgot to put a hook. That was a bit of a mistake on the editing side of it, but we would have done that if we'd done it more intelligently. The point I'm trying to make is that the YouTube Analytics gives us so much information that we can actively use to change the performance either of our existing videos or more likely of our future videos. So in the future, we know that we're going to spend much more time on the title, much more time on the thumbnail. It's always the pattern. We're adding a procedure into our video production process, which involves making the thumbnail before the video itself. So we're going to draft the thumbnail before we even think about writing the video. And I'm going to insist from our team that that's what happens moving forward, just because of how insanely important the thumbnail is. And we can look at our engagement graphs and stuff to see exactly what we can do next time. So YouTube is growing on YouTube is easier than others, because we are given the analytics to us on a silver platter, which is something you don't really get in almost any other field. Monetization is also amazing on YouTube. Like, yes, TikTok is a great platform for growth, but everyone who's big on TikTok wants to be big on YouTube, because YouTube is such a fantastic, mature platform where monetization is built in. If you're starting a business, you have to worry about what product to sell, and you have to worry about marketing it. If you're starting a YouTube channel, you don't have to worry about marketing it, because the algorithm does that for you. And you also don't have to worry about monetizing it, because it will happen by default thanks to AdSense once you hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. So the fact that all we as creators have to do is create good stuff, and YouTube, the platform, will sort the rest of it out. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And that's what makes YouTube an easier platform than others. The other reason is that like freaking 2 billion people every month are watching YouTube videos. You will find almost no one in the world who does not spend some time watching YouTube videos each week or each month. And so there's a huge like long tail of potential niches. Yes, you've got the Mr. Beast putting in 100 million views, appealing to the mainstream, but there's a massive long tail. Like there are YouTube channels for absolutely every niche imaginable, and there are viewers for absolutely every niche imaginable. Like there is no such thing as a niche that's too small. You could be safe in making videos about like cybersecurity professionals. Safe's video quality has improved massively over the last 6 weeks. He's one of the students in our exec program. And cybersecurity sounds like a pretty niche thing, but actually I'm pretty sure Safe is going to do like really, really well on YouTube, because it's really good content for that niche kind of long tail. You've got long tail stuff. And so let's go back to our main point. If you're being consistent, but you're still not growing as fast as you'd like, it just means that your videos aren't good enough. And you need to improve the quality of the videos. But that comes through quantity and through active, like deliberate effort in trying to make them better. But the good news is that good enough is easier in YouTube than in any other field. So that begs the question, what is it that makes YouTube videos good? Well, 2 things. Make people click on them and make people watch them. That is the $1 million formula. If you can just crack that formula, you will be a billionaire overnight thanks to YouTube videos. Probably not overnight. It'll probably take a year, but you'll be a YouTube billionaire if you literally could crack the formula on how to earn the click and how to keep people watching. But we've talked about this. There's no formula. I'm not saying we've got the magic formula. I wish we had the magic formula. If I had a magic formula, probably wouldn't be teaching it to people. I'd just be using the magic formula to become a YouTube billionaire. But some things that we've learned over the last 4 years that have worked. How do we earn the click? What are the 2 things the click is dependent on? Basically, title and thumbnail. And that starts by generating an idea for a concept, using our idea generation machine. We've got capture, we've got generate, we've got 6 different ways of generating ideas, endless ideas for our videos, so that we're never going to run out of them. And then we refine those ideas by thinking about titles and thumbnails. Titles are ridiculously important. The right title can make or break a video. The right book title can make or break a book. Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, hit the New York Times bestseller list purely based on the title alone. Can you guys hear that airplane in the sky? Probably not. Purely based on the title alone. If you have a compelling title and thumbnail, that can itself just make a video completely fly. What is it that makes a good title? Well, a few different rules that we've talked about. Sell the result, don't sell the process. How to Beat Imposter Syndrome or How to Stop Caring What People Think is a better video title than Exploring the Spotlight Effect. Exploring the Spotlight Effect sounds like a video essay, tends to get fewer views. How to Stop Caring What Other People Think sounds like the sort of problem all of us have and that we want to get solved. How I type really fast, how I remember everything I read. I remember everything I read. You know, we're artistic license. We're stretching what this video is actually about, but it's a clickable title. It's engaging. People are like, oh, I wonder how you remember everything you read. That's kind of interesting. How I beat imposter syndrome, how I became a better speaker, and so on. Try and build intrigue rather than building agreement. We talked about this. How writing online made me millionaire. Oh, hello, that's interesting. If this video had been titled "Why writing is good for you," no one would have clicked on it because everyone knows writing is good for them. Even worse, if it had been titled "Writing is good for you," no one would have clicked on the video because everyone would be like, "Yeah, okay, cool, fine, keep going." How writing online made me millionaire. Suddenly, also stretching the truth. I'm not technically a millionaire, but like whatevs. I was wrong. The real secret of productivity. Intriguing. Makes you want to click. Be like, oh, what was you wrong about? Well done, Angus, for suggesting that as a video title. That was very good. Rule number 3, don't describe what your video is about. Rule number 4, optimize for humans. Don't optimize for machines. Don't be in 2010 SEO, Google search engine rankings mode where you're stuffing your video title with keywords. Think about what is the stuff that's going to appeal to people. Why I spent 28,000 for, again, stretching the truth to breaking point. This includes products I bought and returned. This includes business expenses. I got like MacBooks for some of the team members for them to use. Like, this is a stupidly large number and actually not what I spent on Apple products. But this video was about like, you know, about the kind of benefits of the Apple ecosystem. But a video called Benefits of the Apple Ecosystem is not interesting. A video called Why I Spent $28,000 on Apple products this year is interesting. And not one person complained about the clickbaitiness of the title because the title is intriguing and it's optimized for people. 8 Habits That Made Me a Millionaire. Again, it's a myth. It's not actually true, but that's fine. It's all good. It's okay to lie to our audience as long as we give them decent value in return. And rule 5, a bit more advanced, A/B testing. We do a lot of this using TubeBuddy. 9 lessons I've learned from 4 years on YouTube. How I made 250K. 9 lessons from 4 years on YouTube. The variation in click-through rate is 25% higher than the original. So adding 250K, oh my goodness. Adding 250K to the video title made the click-through rate perform a solid 25% higher, which is a big difference. We can look at the stats using TubeBuddy. And we want to keep in mind when it comes to titles, the difference between optimizing for search traffic and optimizing for browse traffic. So browse versus search. Browse oriented is kind of clickbaity. It grabs attention and it appeals to emotion. It's a video like why I spent $28,000 on Apple products. Whereas search oriented traffic is like niche and specific and answers a specific question that users would be potentially searching for. So that does sort of dictate your title strategy as well. What about what makes a good thumbnail? Again, going back to our thing, we're talking about how do we get people to click on our videos. This is all the stuff that we've gone over in the course. Make them pop. Think about your vibe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Add emotion to your videos, but only if it fits the vibe. You know, yes, the data tells us that making a weird face on a thumbnail is likely to increase the click-through rate, but that data is skewed by 9 to 14-year-olds. Most of us are not targeting 9 to 14-year-olds. Therefore, we really want to think hard about what's the vibe we're creating with our thumbnails. Balance the art versus the science of the thumbnails. Thumbnails are definitely not an afterthought. I think that's a mistake we've been doing on our channel. We've sort of been treating like, yes, we come up with thumbnail ideas before making the video, but even then, like, we're not thinking about thumbnails enough. What we need to do, and what I've seen other channels do that are successful, is come up with a title and create the thumbnail, or at least a first draft of the thumbnail. Like literally in Photoshop, create the thumbnail before the video is even written. Because when you know you have a compelling title and thumbnail, that is when you decide to write the video. And again, rule 5 for the pros is to test thumbnails. Again, you can use TubeBuddy for that if you like, and there'll be a link to TubeBuddy in the chat if you guys haven't signed up. We've got a free 60-day trial for the Legend plan, which is normally $49 a month. So you can try that for 2 months, see if you like it, and see if the A/B testing feature will be useful for you. So that's step 1, earn the click. And then step 2 is just keep people watching. And rule number 2 is to keep people watching. So how do we keep people watching? Well, one concept that I haven't yet talked about is this idea of proof of work. Proof of work is a concept from crypto. But proof of work basically means, can the audience, in this context, it means, can the audience see how much work has gone into a video? Like back in the day, when YouTube was less of a thing, let's say 10, 15 years ago, people wouldn't have appreciated how much work goes into a video because people just weren't watching that many videos. But now, the sort of audience that lives on YouTube is so familiar with YouTube content. Like we've all seen hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of YouTube videos. We know what makes a good video. We can tell when people have put effort into it. And so these are a bunch of different ways to show our viewers that we have put effort into our videos: editing, B-roll, experience, density of insights, and personality. We talked in, I think, a session 2 weeks ago about the ABCDE of personalization, the ABCD of how to get people to fall in love with our channel. This is sort of that concept, but like if we're thinking about an individual video, what we want is for people, A, to be engaged and interested in the video itself and therefore to watch it. But also we want people to think, wow, I can't believe this is free. That's like a really good thing for people to think when they've gotten off your video. Part of the reason James Jarney has succeeded so well on YouTube is because you watch his video and you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is free on the internet. Like this should be on Netflix. Part of the reason some of my videos succeed, because people say in the comments, I can't believe this information is free. Like you want to get to that point where people know you've put just a shit ton of effort into the video, that they like that itself is a thing that keeps people engaged. So let's talk about these in turn. Editing. We've talked about James Jarney and how he basically edits Netflix documentaries for his YouTube channel. I've shown you this video about just how ridiculously insane the editing on this is.
In 2003, professional boxer and heavyweight champion Mike Tyson filed for bankruptcy with $30 million in debt, despite accumulating over $300 million during the course of his career, which poses a great question about money itself, because a great deal of our actions or our motivations in life have an
Anyway, yeah, we've seen the editing stuff. Basically, the more time and effort you put into edit, like if you look at the comments on James Jarney's videos, the comments are along the lines of, oh my God, I can't believe how long this editing must have taken. Like, it's incredible that you spend so much time with the editing. Oh my God, the editing on this video is insane. Oh my God, your editing is really leveled up. Like, we think editing is a niche thing, but it's actually not. Like, people, viewers on the internet can appreciate good editing. And so this is another way in which we can stack the deck in our favor by adding time, just making the edit really good, or by outsourcing to an editor who's potentially really good. B-roll is another good signal for proof of work. Let's have a look at Mike Shake's channel. I think he's on over 1 million subscribers now. Mike Shake's channel has grown ridiculously fast. 1 million subscribers, I think, in just over a year. And if you watch his videos, I'll show you this. Like, count how much B-roll he's got in his first 30 seconds. Let's do this as a little exercise. How much B-roll, how many times is the clip changing?
This week, I wanted to learn a few fighting techniques and tricks using nunchucks, from beginner level to advanced. I started practicing immediately, but in the beginning, I simply kept hurting myself in many creative ways. And even if I was using training nunchucks before moving to the real ones, these things hurt. So then I watched a bunch of videos, and before moving to the tricks, I decided to learn 3 fighting techniques, all based on the same principle.
He has got 22 cuts, 22 bits of B-roll in the first 22 seconds. He's literally changing the shot every single second. When you watch a Mike Shake video, you just cannot help but being engaged by it because it's straight to the point. There's no, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's so great to see my viewers here. It's like, right, I decided I want to learn about how to do nunchucks, but it was really hard. He's going straight into the storytelling, straight into the content, and 22 bits of B-roll in 22 seconds. That is freaking inspirational. Like, you know, I think our intros are good when we've got like 3 bits of B-roll in the first 30 seconds, but clearly we're doing something wrong. We need to ramp up the amount that we're doing B-roll wise. Because again, it's such an easy way. It's not easy. Such a simple way of adding production value to our content. And someone would like, there is no one watching Mike Shake's videos thinking this video has not had effort put into it. Like, we appreciate when people have put effort into the content that we're consuming, especially over time, as we become more and more aware of how we're spending our time and attention. We need to be like, you know, time is literally our single most valuable non-renewable resource. And we're asking our viewers to spend their time watching our stuff. It needs to be good. And adding just a shit ton of B-roll is one really simple way to make our videos really good.
This week, I wanted to learn a few fighting techniques.
Personal experience is another one that we haven't really talked about yet. I need to incorporate this into earlier bits of the course. This is all just like the sort of brain dump at the end for what else could I tell you about growing on YouTube. So what is personal experience? Personal experience, basically, the more you can speak from your personal experience, the better your videos will be. It's very different to make a video that's, okay, let's see. What's the example I want to use? Basically, like whatever you're teaching, like, okay, let's say I was trying to teach a topic. Let's say I was trying to teach people how to learn the guitar. No, let's not use the guitar. I was trying to teach people how to grow on YouTube, and I'd been on YouTube for like 2 weeks, and I was trying to teach people how to grow on YouTube. And what I was doing was I was just repackaging insights from like Part-Time YouTuber Academy and like Think Media and Video Creators and Daryl Eves. I read all the books, and I was repackaging the insights and I was saying, all right, guys, here's how you grow on YouTube. That's fine. It's like a very, it's a standard way of producing content. A lot of people do this, especially on Twitter. I just read Mindset by Carol Dweck. Here's a summary of 10 insights or whatever. Like, that's fine. But when someone is speaking from personal experience, there is a magic to that just does not have, like, the more personal experience you can add to whatever the thing is you're making is, the better that thing is going to be. Hopefully you guys have found the Part-Time YouTuber Academy helpful. A big part of that is the personal experience that I share from being on YouTube for the last 4 years. A lot of you guys have found the House Master sessions really useful. A big part of that is the personal experience people are sharing from being Elizabeth or Jack or Nasser or Hannah and being on YouTube for, a year to 10 years. Personal experience is valuable. So whatever video you're making, think about, how can I incorporate personal experience into this? This is probably the thing that I see done least well out of the videos that I watch, because I think when you're getting started, and I'm really going through this when it comes to writing the book, like when you're starting with creating content on the internet, we all have this imposter syndrome type thing that, who am I? Like, why am I, like, why would anyone care about me? Like, what the hell do I have to say that's useful? Like, why does it matter? I'm going to lean on the research. I'm going to research videos. I'm going to make sure my points are good, but we hesitate to talk about ourselves. But actually, talking about ourselves is the way that we resonate with an audience, because the audience can Google a summary of the book if they really want. But what they care far more about is, what are the things that you as an individual, as a real human being, took away from that? You can read a summary on Blinkist, but it's just like, it's a bit boring. It's a bit shit. But if you heard someone on a video or on a podcast talking about, oh my God, I just read Mindset by Carol Dweck, and like genuinely, they were, yeah, it's a really long book. It's full of good stuff. You can read a summary, but there's like 3 things in particular that like completely blew my mind when I read this book. And I'm going to talk about them. This might be useful to you, might not be useful, but I'm going to share the things that worked for me. That is me speaking from personal experience. If we look at the videos that have done well, how I ranked first at Cambridge University, this is the gift that keeps on giving for the channel. This was a whole year of personal experience of me working like ridiculously long hours in the library of Emmanuel College in Cambridge, like freaking, like with my friends, Pomodoro technique, study with me playlist in the background, Lord of the Rings, making spider diagram after spider diagram, memorizing a shit ton of stuff about essays, and condensing a year worth of personal experience into a 17-minute long video. And this video, this is the gift that keeps the channel going. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you need, here's another one: how I take notes on my iPad Pro in medical school. Again, this was the video that made my channel take off. It was like a year of personal experience of note taking condensed into like 23 minutes. The title: how I take notes on my iPad Pro in medical school. It's not how to take notes. It's not here is a summary of Sonky Oren's book, How to Take Smart Notes, or here is a summary of Adler Mortimer's book, How to Read a Book. No one cares about that. Like, we've tried making those sorts of content. It doesn't work. It's like, here's a personal experience. I've condensed my personal experience for a whole year into this video. This is the sort of stuff that works. With like some B-roll at the start. Oof, that spin. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Oh, I look so young. Look at me. Back in the day, oh, my room was freaking massive. Anyway. Let's have a look at our best videos. How I ranked first at Cambridge University, how I take notes, how I type really fast. I've been improving my typing speed since the age of 13. When I was 13 and I tried a typing test for the first time, I got like 82 words per minute. This was in a ICT class in year 8 in my school. And in that time, I've been doing typing tests like, once or twice a month to improve my speed. I've got 14 years worth of tacit knowledge about how to type faster, condensed into this video about how to type really fast. How to study for exams. Okay, this was not a personal. This was one that's not personal. It was a very research heavy, but that's fine. My desk setup, personal. How much money I earn in a week as a doctor, personal. Which iPad should you buy? Actually, a lot of this was very, very, very personal. I was wrong. iPad Pro versus iPad Pro, personal. How I manage my time as a doctor, personal experience. My productivity desk setup, again, personal. How to study for exam, space repetition. Okay, this was impersonal. My new favorite laptop, MacBook Air review, personal plus a little bit of research. But actually, the thing that people comment on when it comes to my tech reviews is, oh, I love the personal insight. The reason I'm driving this point home is because I see this now as I'm trying to write my book, where the thing I'm always saying to my agent and my editor is, oh, but why does anyone care about me? Like, if I was Elon Musk, then okay, what my thoughts on productivity and success and happiness are would matter. But I'm not. Like, who gives a fuck? And they're like, no, you need to get that idea out of your head. Like, don't bother. Like, research and case studies and famous people case studies have their place. But the thing that drives the narrative of a book is personal experience. The reason you've got 2 million subscribers on YouTube is because you write about, you share your personal experience. The reason people will buy the book from your audience is because of personal experience. And the reason why people outside of your audience will hopefully love the book, fingers crossed, once I actually write it and hopefully it's actually good. The reason they'll love it is because of the personal narrative that's driving it. And the more kind of insights they feel they can get from that personal narrative, the more they're likely to recommend that book to people. So lean into your personal experience. August Bradley has been freaking systems thinking design consultant for the last 30 years. He's condensing 30 years worth of insights into this ridiculously profitable YouTube channel that's become like a $3 million business off the back of 30,000 subscribers. Absolutely insane. Nat Eliason, one of my Twitter friends, has a blog. He has a blog post called How to Start a Blog That Changes Your Life. Nat's blog makes 6 figures a month now from the content on it. It's just insane. And the point that he makes as well is that a blog post will do well if it has personal experience condensed into a blog post. If you've been at, I don't know, a VP at Amazon for 10 years and you condense that into a blog post, there is no way that's not going to go viral. If you're like Gary Tan and you're a billionaire investor and you're condensing your personal insights from being a billionaire investor who's been a partner at Y Combinator into a YouTube channel, there's no way that's not going to succeed. It's all about the personal insights. Personal insights, dial up the trust. The more we talk about ourselves, the more people trust us. But I get it. It's really hard to do. And we all lean into research. We lean into the studies. We lean into the impersonal stuff. But one thing I would implore you to do is be more personal with your content and it will do better. Guarantee it. Okay, next. Density of insights. This is an important one. Again, something that Nat talks about when it comes to what makes an effective blog post, and definitely when it comes to what makes an effective educational YouTube video. It's how much insight can you cram into every single 30 seconds or something like that. Atomic Habits is a very, very, very good book. And part of the reason it's so good is because as you read it, you want to highlight basically every other paragraph. And that is like I had a Zoom call with him a few months ago, randomly, basically asking for advice on how to write a book. And he was like, yeah, I took like 6 years to put Atomic Habits together because what he wanted to do was make people feel the need to highlight basically the whole book. There's such a huge density of insights in Atomic Habits, which is why it's just breakout success, 4 or 5 million copies sold already in the last few years. It's absolutely insane. Whereas what you read in most nonfiction self-help big idea books is one central idea and then fluff that backs it up. But no one who's read Atomic Habits says that it's fluff, and that's why it's doing so well. One thing David Perel says that he would have talked about, writing improvement tip, your reader should have an epiphany every 100 words. Cut the fluff, cut to the chase. Let's have a look at Mike Shake's video again. Now, ignore the B-roll, but watch this and see just the density of insights and just appreciate just how many insights he's packing into the first. Let's watch the first minute of this and let's see what this looks like.
This week, I wanted to learn a few fighting techniques and tricks using nunchucks, from beginner level to advanced. I started practicing immediately, but in the beginning, I simply kept hurting myself in many creative ways. And even if I was using training nunchucks before moving to the real ones, these things hurt. So then I watched a bunch of videos, and before moving to the tricks, I decided to learn 3 fighting techniques, all based on the same principle. When you spin nunchucks, only the bottom part of them has all the energy.
So it's 26 seconds and he's already gotten into he's basically following a story structure to the letter. I decided I wanted to do X, but I realized it was really hard. So then I went on some YouTube videos and I learned these interesting things. Within 26 seconds, he's straight into the insights. He's just telling you exactly what he's learned from this.
Power. If the top part of the handle hits your body, the nunchuck will simply bounce back. It doesn't hurt. Really. The first technique is the horizontal spin, and it consists in letting the nunchucks bounce on the sides of your body and strike in the middle. At first, I simply kept hitting my back, but then by holding the nunchuck slightly above the middle point and extend my arm a bit more, I got fluid and comfortable with it, and it's pretty easy. The second
Yeah, it's just sort of like straight, like a huge density of insights, and that's what
This week, I
succeeds
wanted
about
to
this video. In addition to the B-roll and the storytelling, one of the things I think that's made my channel succeed over time is the density of insights. Like, we make pretty long videos, like in the grand scheme of YouTube, but the longer videos just do really well, and I think it's because the long videos have just more insights. And often a comment people would leave on some of the videos is, I can't believe this information is free. This information should be in a course. I can imagine this being a course, but it's freely available on YouTube. And we try and pack as many insights. I will teach everything I know about a topic when I'm making a video about that topic and not hold anything back. And that means we get longer videos and more like in-depth videos, but it's density of insights. And that's another thing that makes people think, oh, wow, there's a lot of effort that's gone into this video. There is proof of work. Therefore, I'm engaged and I will like it. And the final thing that we've sort of talked about before is a vibe. And this phrase that Jack first told me, which is your vibe attracts your tribe. Peter McKinnon's vibe is very different to Pickup Limes' vibe, for example.
Over the years, I've collected so much equipment, so we are continuing to get rid of everything. Hundreds and thousands of dollars of photo and video equipment continues to go out the door today. Fun fact, if you wear an easy rig while riding a boosted scooter, you don't need a kickstand.
It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a cup of tea for about like 6 million people. Peter McKinnon's vibe attracts his tribe. Mr. Beast, your vibe attracts your tribe. Very different vibe to Peter McKinnon, very different vibe to Matt D'Avella. Still obviously really successful. Let's have a look at this.
I'm in front of a restaurant with a $100,000 check. Hey, how's it going? I'm curious if you would quit your job for $100,000.
No, I don't think I would. Like, I have got bills to pay.
You can get a different.
Loads of B-roll, strong hook, B-roll thing every 1 second. There's text on screen, pattern interrupts. He's doing the whole shebang.
I'm in front of a restaurant with a $100,000 check.
Lana Blakely, very different vibe. Let's have a look at this.
The other day when I sat down for my daily journaling, I realized something. It's been almost 10 years since I started dating. 10 years. Like, where does the time go? Now, that realization in itself probably isn't very interesting, but what is interesting is that upon realizing that, I took some time to reflect on the time that's passed, and
Very different vibe. Not that much B-roll. Very low key, very chill, very relaxed. 30 seconds have gone by and she still hasn't really gotten into the content, but it's fine. The vibe attracts a tribe. Her kind of laid back, like, it's making me want to speak slowly as well, because I realized I've sort of been speaking at this frenetic. Let's take a chill pill, relax. It's kind of cool. Let's lean in. Let's watch this video. This is kind of interesting. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
the other day
You don't have to be like a high energy Peter McKinnon or Mr. Beast to succeed on YouTube. Let's look at Elizabeth's.
Hiya, if you're new here, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a medical student and an artist living in London, and today I am going to do the full walkthrough of my Notion setup for my second brain. I already have a full video on why a second brain.
I would have cut the rambly. I already have a full video about sort of pointing to a video at the start of a video. Probably not the best thing to do, but this video did well. But the point we're making here is your vibe attracts your tribe. Elizabeth's vibe here is very warm, friendly. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a medical student in London. The background music, it's all like upbeat and it's nice and it's acoustic and it's got a little bit of like a beat to it and just makes you want to smile. It makes you think, oh, this is nice. It's a very different vibe to Peter McKinnon. It's a very different vibe to Lana Blakely or Nathaniel Drew or Matt D'Avella, but it's a vibe that works. And this vibe attracts people that are like, sort of wholesome people that are like, oh, Elizabeth, we love you. We support you unconditionally, all this kind of stuff. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Hiya, if you're new here, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a medical student and an artist living in London.
It's always the same tone. Hiya, if you're new here, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a medical student and artist living in London. It's just so wholesome. It's so nice. Like, it's great. Have a look at Nathaniel Drews.
I want to show you how to remember your life, to capture it, understand it, digest it. In a way, I see this as a powerful skill for the 21st century. I see the work that I do capturing my experiences as a form of oxygen, a sort of therapy for me. It helps me make sense of things. It helps me breathe in this confusing, changing world. Remembering my life.
Very different vibe. More Lana Blakely vibes, but also more like, guru rather than guide. I want to help you with doing this. Like a little bit. He's got a sultry tone. He's got the music. He's got the cinematic shots. Different vibe. Not Peter McKinnon, not Mr. Beast, but it's a vibe that works. And so we really want to be thinking actively about
want to show you
what is the vibe that we are creating in our content. So that's it. Step one, get people to click on the videos, pick a topic, make a good title, make a good thumbnail, and get people to watch the videos. Show that you've put in effort into making the videos. You've got the proof of work. You've done the ABCD of personalization. You've done decent storytelling. You've packed in density of insights. You've used your personal experience. You've thought about the vibe, and you've edited the video really well. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to succeed on YouTube. Just do all of that stuff, and then do it every week for the next 2 years. And I guarantee that your life will change. And you'll email us 2 years from now, and we'll be like, sick, your YouTube channel is doing really well. Do you want to be a house master on the PTY? We'd love to have you, because you have been putting in the work every week for the last 2 years and doing all of this stuff. And now you're succeeding on YouTube, unsurprisingly. Honestly, if anyone watching, if you did all of the things I've just described, I would be shocked if your channel didn't get some decent momentum in the next 6 months. That would be pretty surprising. I would be surprised. I would be an 8 out of 10 surprised if someone were to do that and the channel were not to get momentum in the next 6 months. But that's not quite the guarantee. The guarantee is one video every week for 2 years and your life will change. We've talked about the Hive framework, hook, intro, value, and screen sales pitch as a way of structuring our videos. We know that people's attention span is a bit shit. And we talked about 6 different ways about how we can add more engagement to our videos by making the hook better. Ask a question, share a fact, offer a transformation, provide a tip, show loads of B-roll like Mike Shake does, 22 shots in 22 seconds, or preview a clip from later in the video. That's the thing we wanted to do with this latest video from yesterday that didn't do very well, but sadly Christian forgot to do it, but that's fine. This stuff happens. We want to give our viewers value. That comes from the writing. It comes from the structure. We've talked about FBR, fast, bad, wrong, A-roll versus voiceover, minimizing repetition, flair, and intellectual property. We've talked about generating ideas. We've talked about the idea generator machine as an illustration of intellectual property. And we talked about the various different ways of structuring a video, the listicle, the triplet, the quartet, and the story structure. This video, 9 passive income ideas, how I make 27K per week. It's just a listicle. It's boring. Triplet structure, quartet structure, and the format model, and why, what, how, what if. I'm just blitzing through this because I want to answer questions. We have talked about all of this stuff. And the hero's journey story. If you watch any of Mike Shake's video, he really does this hero's journey storytelling thing really, really well. That's one of the things that makes him succeed. Who is the character? What do they want? What are the stakes? Why can't they get what they want? What helps them? How do they get what they want? And how are they transformed, crucially, by the experience? So what is it that makes YouTube videos good? Well, earn the click and then keep them watching. What about beyond the video? Again, we talked about this idea of stacking the deck. You can stack the deck with time, you can stack the deck with money, and you can stack the deck by using a system. And hopefully we've taught you ways about how to do all of them, focusing on the system. We've talked about the business model for being a creator. We've talked about the evolution of platforms over time and how if you're getting started today, just focus on YouTube. If you're already been doing YouTube for at least a year, then I would consider maybe branching out into newsletter and blog and Twitter and that kind of stuff. But there's a real risk of splitting your focus across many different things, probably less useful overall than doubling down on YouTube. YouTube is still the single best platform to grow on in 2021. We've talked about repurposing, the artery method. We've talked about how you can take an idea and turn it into a tweet thread, a newsletter, a podcast episode, a video, writing, a blog post. You can even turn it into an online course if you really want to. We talked about all the various different ways of monetizing your audience. Now, let's skip this breakout room. I want to do lots of Q&A to make sure that you guys have lots of Q&A time. But if you're interested, this is an exercise not particularly helpful because monetization is a further down the line thing. But it is useful, like asking people to give you an idea of what potential things you could monetize. But again, happens a lot further down the line. We don't need to worry about it so much. A few more things. So when is our blueprint going to be ready? It's ready. Oh, wonderful. We have a completion survey, basically, which is going to be posted in the chat right now. Please, can you spend some time to complete that completion survey? In fact, if you know that you're not going to have time later, you should do it right now. That'll be really good. The completion survey is really useful because we're going to ask you to redo your blueprint, and we'll see. That'll help you see, and you'll get that personalized diagrammy thingy again, and that'll show you which areas you've improved on, and crucially, which areas you've still got left to improve over the next 2 years. And that'll be nice. And it also asks those like coaching-y heavy questions about like how you're going to keep the momentum going, and like genuinely engaging with that is a very, very, very good way of like, you know, actually being sort of keeping the momentum going. Also, if you want to be an affiliate of the YouTuber Academy, you have to complete this survey. Like, you have to, like, it's not allowed. So if you want to be an affiliate for us and get 10% commission for future cohorts of the course, if you fancy making a video like review of the P2IA, then that would be good. Also, if you make a video called review of the P2IA, even if it's not really relevant to your channel content, it can often get lots of views. And if it's good, i.e. high production value, and using all the techniques we've taught you, then we'll stick it on our website as well. And so you'll get like free views that way. But you have to complete the completion survey. Otherwise, you're not allowed to be an affiliate, and you're not allowed to, well, feel free to make a video, but you're not allowed to be an affiliate without completing the survey. As a reminder, this is this week's assignment: community content creation. Produce something unscripted, do a Q&A, do an assumptions video or something like that. Q&A is probably just do a Q&A, grab 5 or 10 or 15 questions from your audience, from YouTube comments, make a community post, ask on Instagram, ask on Twitter, ask in the breakout rooms, ask in your house master sessions, which are probably still happening, ask in social club tomorrow if you attend social club. People will give you questions and you can answer them completely unscripted. That's a plan. It's the final video of the course. And we've got our Academy Awards and after party tomorrow at 4 p.m. So basically this time tomorrow will be the Academy Awards, and we'll show the best and most improved videos from the cohort and the nominations for each like best picture for each of the different homework assignments. And we'll be giving out a ton of house points along the way. There will be a link here for you guys to vote for the Part-Time YouTuber Academy Awards, and lots of the prizes will be given based on the public vote. So we have shortlisted a bunch of different videos that could be the nominees for each different category, for best picture for each of the homework assignments, for example. And it's up to you guys to just have a quick watch through and vote on which one you think is the best. And yeah, we'll tally up the votes and we'll give out the awards tomorrow. So all that's left to say is congratulations. We're at the end of this long 6-week course. I feel like time has just gone by so fast. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like yesterday where we were sort of planning and trying to make sure, you know, all the logistics and sort of stuff was sorted out for the Housemaster sessions. But the time has just gone so fast, and hopefully you guys have learned a lot of things. The content is always going to be here for you. Like the videos will always be on Circle. You always have access to Circle for as long as Circle exists, and we continue to pay our membership subscription for Circle. The videos are there. So don't worry if you miss some of the stuff in the course. The main thing we want to take away is that if you're a beginner, consistency is the thing you have to be focusing on. If you're an intermediate, quality is the thing you're focusing on. And if you're an absolute pro, then systemizing the production of your consistency and quality is the thing to be focusing on. Most of us in this call are beginners. Focus on consistency. If you're intermediate, focus on quality by doing all the stuff we talked about. And if you're a real pro, like I'm thinking 50 to 100K plus subscribers plus, at that point, you can worry about systemizing and scaling and ramping up production and do all that fun stuff, which we can talk much more about. If you're in that position, drop me an email and we'll help you out in other interesting ways as well. But yeah, congratulations. There's been a lot of work. It's really great to see how there's so many people who really feel, I feel like some of the videos I was seeing at the start compared to what they're like now, it's just such a night and day difference. And it's really great that you guys have been putting in the work and showing up consistently and producing the videos. And the videos are pretty good. Our feedback team has been watching a load of them. Angus, Elizabeth have been watching a load of them. I've been watching a load of them from our exec team. They're actually very good. They're really, really solid. And I always feel really impressed when it's like, oh yes, this is a solid video. And there's so many ideas that I've managed to steal away from other people's videos as well by watching videos in the cohort. So yeah, super proud of you guys. I think it's amazing that we've come this far in the last 6 weeks. And I'm super, super excited. I'm almost tearing up thinking about it. I'm super excited for the next 2 years of your YouTube journey. And I guarantee, 100% guarantee, that if you stick with it, then it will completely change your life and it'll be fun. But you just have to stick with it and you've got to put in the work. But the good news is it's not really work, it's just kind of fun. So yeah, let's do a final huzzah in terms of the Q&A. And basically, yeah, if you have any question to, I honestly, like while the Q&A is happening, I would recommend filling out the survey. There are 124 of you here. You know, it takes maybe 10-15 minutes to fill out the survey, so you can do that while listening to me, and if anything particularly interesting has come up, you'll just listen to me. But I would recommend opening the survey up in a new tab, and yeah, completing that right now because you've got some time right now. Let's do that. Cool. Okay, Maggie, Can you elaborate on the architect approach and what makes it faster, and when would it be better from your perspective? Ooh, okay. Right. In our niche session, I showed a spectrum of kind of how people treat YouTube. I need to see myself to see that I'm saying the right things. A spectrum of how people treat YouTube, where it's like purely business, like very much treating it like a business on one end and very much treating it like a hobby on the other end. Now, the more you're on the hobby end of the spectrum, the more of an archaeologist approach you should take with your channel. The more on the business end of the spectrum you are, the more of an architect approach you might consider taking. The archaeologist approach works for 99% of people. If I were starting YouTube from scratch, not knowing the stuff that I know now about how to make a good video, I would be doing the archaeologist approach. But if my channel were to disappear overnight and I were to decide to do a YouTube channel again, knowing everything I know, I would take an architect approach. The reason I would take an architect approach involves planning out exactly what my niche is going to be ahead of time, doing competitor research, looking at what other channels are being successful, creating a list of 100 video ideas, including titles and thumbnails before I shoot a single video based on this is the content that is absolutely going to work. Like spending hours and hours pouring through every single other channel in the space and seeing what are the elements I can take from them, what are the elements I can use in mine. I'd be using our branding components. I'd be thinking, okay, from day one, what is the sort of vibe I want my channel to be? Whose vibe do I want to imitate? Do I want to be a dash of Peter McKinnon, which with a little bit of Lana Blakely and a little bit of Matt Diavolo thrown in for good measure, and then I'll add my own banter to that. I'd be thinking, what are the rituals? What are the icons? What is the stuff that I can have? How can I open all my videos? Can I open all my videos reading a book? Maybe something saying reading a book. Oh, hey there, I didn't see you. You know, what are the rituals that I can start crafting for my channel from day one? I'd be thinking about all of those things ahead of time. And then when I make the videos, I would be so good at making videos already that I wouldn't have to worry. Like, obviously, my editing is going to be world class. Obviously, I'm going to be sick of speaking to a camera. Obviously my storytelling is great. Obviously, I'm packing density of insights. Obviously, I'm talking about stuff I've got personal experience in. I'd be probably outsourcing editing because I'd be putting money into this. I'd be possibly hiring writers because I'd be putting money into this to do extra research. This would be the approach that I would take to YouTube if my channel were deleted and I had to start again tomorrow. But in describing that, hopefully most of you are are thinking that sounds really, really bad. Like, I do not want to be doing that. Hopefully, as I describe that, especially if you're a beginner, you're thinking, okay, that's probably not what I want to be doing. Even if it is what you want to be doing, like, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Like, it's very hard to be good at. Okay, if you are already a filmmaker, if you're already a professional videographer, if like, we've got a few people in the course who are professional videographers, been making content for 10 years already, in that position, you can take more of an architect approach because you don't have to worry about actually learning the craft of making videos. But if you're starting to learn the craft of making videos, there is no way in hell the architect approach is going to work for you because it's just too hard. You probably could do it, but again, speaking to 124 people here, maybe there's one or two people here who I'd prescribe the architect approach to. The other 122, honestly, if you're a beginner, consistency; if you're intermediate, quality; and if you're pro, scale. I wouldn't really use an architect approach unless you're fully in. I want to treat this as a business 100% from day one, and I want to do all of that work ahead of time, and then I'm really going to bash through this and commit to it for the next like 2 years. So hopefully that's somewhat useful. Mitya, how long after publishing is it still worth revisiting titles and thumbnails? I had a chat with this guy called Charlie who runs the channel Charisma on Command. Charisma on Command has like 3 million subscribers. Bloody hell, 4.7 million subscribers. These guys actually don't publish videos particularly often, but they've got a backlog of like 200 videos. And what Charlie was saying is that the single biggest source of growth they've seen for their entire business, they have like 3x to their business, basically by A/B testing titles and thumbnails from their entire back catalog that spans over 3 years. So it's never too long to change titles and thumbnails. But if you're a beginner, it's the wrong thing to be focusing on because as a beginner, again, consistency and quality are the things you care about. A/B testing titles and thumbnails is like a pro thing that kind of comes later. Does the usual audience understand editing? yes, people can tell. Like, people who watch YouTube videos have an appreciation of what good editing is and what a well-produced video looks like. They might not know exactly how to describe it. They might not be able to articulate, oh, the A cut was really tight, or oh, I loved how much B-roll you were using. Oh, I just loved the color grade there. But there's something, like, they will be able, like, you know, if you put a James Johnny video in front of someone and then you put a, I don't know, beginner YouTube video in front of someone, people would easily be able to tell the difference. So people, like normal people, can absolutely understand what makes good editing. Oh, what's decent momentum in the first 6 months? Numbers. I think if you do all the things, if you take all the learnings from the course, even as a complete beginner, again, this depends on your niche. I know that Casper is in a niche. It depends on your total addressable market and all that kind of stuff. I think one video a week for 6 months where you're genuinely incorporating all of the things I'm talking about, easily 2,000 subscribers. That would be my bar for momentum. Bearing in mind that this is all exponential growth. So that would be growing twice as fast as I did. And there are lots of people we've had in cohort 1 and cohort 2 who have grown significantly faster than I did at the start. This is excluding Elizabeth, who had like a shout out from me. So we'll exclude that from the thing. We'll exclude my housemate Sheen because she lives with me and there's a bit of unfairness in that. But there's actually, like, genuinely, like, at least a dozen people on the course, that on cohorts 1 and 2 that I know of, who've had faster growth than I had, i.e. 1,000 subscribers before the 52 video mark or before the 6 month mark. I think it's very doable. Like, if your stuff is good, it becomes easier and easier to stand out on YouTube because of the algorithm. If your stuff is bad, it becomes really freaking hard to stand out on YouTube. So, like, it's just, yeah, if you're actually applying those, I would be expecting at least 2,000 subscribers within the first 6 months, again, depending on your niche. If you're making videos in Dutch for people making Microsoft Excel content, maybe not, because your TAM, your total addressable market, is probably quite small. Mario, for the PTY review videos, are there any no-goes advice we're not allowed to share? No. Share whatever you like. I'm easy. Zach, if any of the essential cohorts did really well, will any get a proportion to any higher cost? Probably not. But if you're in that position, email us and we'll see. Denny, can we still post videos after this course to get feedback? How long until we can't get feedback? The answer is no. You can feel free to post videos on Circle, like, forever, and the community will give you feedback, but we can't guarantee that our team will be giving you feedback, because we hire our feedback supporters, just for the duration of the course. So they'll be giving feedback on videos that are published up until Sunday.
We've got one more.
Oh, okay. So yeah, basically, as long as you post your video by this Sunday, it will have feedback on it. If you post your video after this Sunday, i.e. after the course ends, I can't guarantee it's going to have feedback on it. Will, I still feel really silly sitting in front of a camera and talking overly confident and extrovertedly. Any quick tips? Do the ultra speaking conductor exercise before the video. And also, you don't need to be overconfident in front of a camera. I think the vibe, if you have more of a, the thing I tell myself is, hey, this has worked for me, maybe it'll work for you. And that helps. Like, maybe I do come across as overconfident / arrogant these days, but certainly at the start, when I was struggling to talk to a camera, it was a case of, okay, I'm not going to be a guru, I'm just going to be a guide. I'm just sharing what's worked for me, and therefore I don't need to come across as overconfident. I don't need to come across as too American or too salesman-y. I just need to be authentic and humble and all that crap, and share what I know. I find that to be a helpful way of combating the overconfidence thing. But also, when you make like 300 videos, you won't feel that way anymore, Will. But yeah, the ultra speaking exercise is genuinely useful for this. Zolkarnian, does timing of posting a video really matter? No. Would you suggest publishing a video same time every week? Yeah, same day every week, roughly the same time. It doesn't move the needle. It's like a 0.1% optimization. Denny, when hiring an editor, what is a good benchmark when determining how many hours it will take an editor to edit videos? Talking head videos, BRL, trying to figure out budget for an editor. Somewhere between 4 to 6 hours is what I would suggest. Somewhere between 4 to 6 hours for a normal video. Matt, any tips on how you approach your density of insights in videos? I think this is my weakest point and why my videos don't yet resonate. Can you give us the 80-20 on density of insights? Okay. The way I think about this is how would I teach this topic if I were teaching a group of medical students? Medical students are intelligent, medical students are driven, and that is what I assume my audience is as well. And therefore, how would I teach this topic? Let me think. One easy way of doing it is listicle. Like a listicle is a really easy way of doing density of insights, because literally like every single item in the listicle is an insight. The triplet structure, the 3x3 structure, 3 points and 3 subpoints, is also a really easy way of doing density of insights, because, well, you've got 3 main points and you've got 3 subpoints. And if you just get through those in a video and bring personal experience into it, that's good density of insights. Telling people what you're going to do ahead of time in the video, I do that quite a lot. It kind of depends on the video, but I find that people appreciate it. For example, in my educational videos, when I'm saying, okay, we're going to start the video by talking about this, and then we'll talk about Y, and then we'll talk about Z, and there's timestamps in the video description if you want to check it out. Let's dive into it. That kind of spiel seems to resonate well. The fact that I put timestamps in the video is a good way of increasing density of insights and increasing viewer engagement. We don't quite have data on this. We're in the process of running A/B tests to see, does removing timestamps from a video change anything? Even if it did, to be honest, with the numbers, I think it's just better user experience to have timestamps. And I know that when I watch YouTube videos, someone like Gerald Undone, if I watch a half an hour, I'm not going to watch half an hour long video of him reviewing a camera, but I'll skip to the bits that interest me because I know what bits interest me. So I think that's another way of adding density of insights. Basically, yeah, it's just about how would you teach a topic if someone were to ask you about it and if that person were intelligent. Adam, on people per hour, you can set your budget type based on fixed price or per hour. Any thoughts on which one I should choose for my editor job post? I think I set mine to £100 per video. £100 per video. But it doesn't really matter. I think per fixed price, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, fixed price would be reasonable. Like £100 per video is sort of high end. You could set it to $50 per video, $75 per video, and just see what happens. And if you need to increase the budget after another round of revision, another round of like failing to find an editor, then you can. But I suspect you'll find an editor in the first round. Karen, regarding the newsletter, how do you do this in an efficient way? If I've got an email list and decide to send a weekly newsletter, is there any efficient tool to copy my Notion content and send it through the email? Yeah, if you're using Substack or Review, you can just copy and paste. That's what I do. I write the email in Notion and then I copy and paste it into ConvertKit, which is our email platform at the moment. If you're making an email, if you're making an email that is like has got stuff in it, like links to, hello, I don't do this anymore. That has links to stuff in it, then Review is actually quite good, because what you can do is it gives you this like sidebar where it can like import stuff from your Pocket or from your Twitter, probably not Notion, but or from their browser extension. Yeah, so you've seen like they've done there. You can just like drag and drop stuff. And so if you're sharing a list of links, you can build that up over time. I never really found that to be particularly helpful. I thought it was a bit gimmicky, but I actually this feature where you can just embed content, embed a tweet, embed links, etc. is quite good. So that would be a reason for using Review, but otherwise Substack or ConvertKit or anything else, you can just copy and paste from Notion. Christina, oh yeah, by the way, we've got 15 minutes left. Please do the survey if you haven't done the survey yet. It will be really helpful, I guarantee, and it will be useful for us. And then you'll get your affiliate link. Christina, I have a professionally produced wedding video that will be of interest to my niche audience that I want to share. It uses copyright music. That's a large part of the appeal. Too afraid of a copyright strike. What you can do is you can upload the video and then leave it as unlisted or private, and YouTube's copyright searchy thingy will look at the video even when it's not public, and it will tell you whether they're going to copyright strike you before you hit publish on the video. Now, the thing with copyright strikes on the videos is that you're actually unlikely to get a copyright strike. For the last vlog that I uploaded on my second channel, we used the Harry Potter soundtrack throughout. and I got a few emails. Like, there's a difference between a copyright strike and a kind of copyright flag or whatever they call it. The copyright flag is just like, oh, the publisher of the music has taken ownership of the monetization of your video. So if your video is monetized, they'll be getting the ad revenue instead. Who cares? A copyright strike is, this is really bad. You want 3 strikes and you're out. I've never ever got a copyright strike. I've only ever had, oh, the publisher has said that this is their content, therefore you're not going to be able to monetize the video. That's actually pretty chill. And I think doing like, who is it? L Mills is a big YouTuber. Where she makes vlogs and stuff, which use like a big part of the appeal is the fact that she uses real music, Michael Bublé songs, or like, you know, just like popular songs. And there is a special magic when you use a popular song that people recognize that they can sing along to. The only drawback for her is that she can't monetize those videos. But I don't think she gets copyright struck for it. At least she didn't last time I heard her speak, which was in 2019. So either way, you can upload the video, leave it as unlisted or private, and see what happens. And then when you hit it to publish, you will know what happens. And if you're in danger of getting struck, they will tell you, and then you just don't publish the video. So that's nice and easy. Cool. Denny, if you had a ton of money to start YouTube but no skills, where are you putting your money in to start your channel? Number 1, editor, but where else? Can you list 3 areas of focus? Okay. I have no skills, but I have money. What can I do? Outsource editing to someone really good. I would actually hire a videographer as well. In the process of hiring a videographer, I've posted a job. If anyone's interested in becoming my full-time videographer and lives in London, let me know. Well, you can apply for the job. It's on my Twitter. I would hire a videographer who'll be able to help you batch film like once a week and do all the B-roll for you, because that'll be good. And I would hire a researcher, writer, content person full-time, whose job it would be to come up with titles and thumbnails and also to come up with talking points for each video. It'll be expensive, but then all you are doing is being the talent and speaking on a camera, and the videographer is motivating you to film because you're paying them to come to your house one day a week, and the editor is doing all the editing. So editing, videography, and content writing would be my 3 areas of focus. Maggie, I have 50 subscribers on my channel, but one of the videos has 12k views by Polish people. Should I create a new channel so it won't get skewed? I'll be creating in English. Nah, it doesn't matter. YouTube is smart. It'll figure it out. This is not going to skew anything in particular. Kobe, how do we use analytics in the very beginning? Have a click-through rate, 5 to 50, low number of impressions. How do you use analytics with small numbers? I wouldn't bother, to be honest. I think analytics with very small numbers is when your numbers are that small, you can't read a lot into them statistically. Like a click-through rate of 15 to 20% is just insanely high. I would probably ignore analytics for the first like 20 videos and then start maybe looking at them. The thing I'd be looking at click-through rate and trying to improve my own over time. I'd be looking at average view duration. I'd be looking at the retention graphs, and I'd be looking at end screen click-through rate. So those 4 things. What did I say? I'm just going to write it down here. So I'd be looking at click-through rate, average view duration, retention graph, and end screen click-through rate. Those are the 4 metrics I'd care about. But I wouldn't be thinking, oh, what's a good click-through rate? I'd be thinking, okay, let me just track my own click-through rate and let's try and improve it over time. Pete, how often do you change both title and thumbnail? Because changing one then means the other doesn't reflect well. Yeah, rarely we change both title and thumbnail, unless, like for example, for yesterday's video, initially I changed just the title, and then it was like an hour later, and I just had a gut. I was like, oh, this thumbnail is so bad. Okay, let's just change this thumbnail as well. Let's just see what happens. That's unusual. Usually, for a test to be effective, it needs to be just one thing that you change. And certainly when we're doing A/B testing on TubeBuddy, we only change one thing at a time, either title or the thumbnail. Mario, Ali, from all of the many tips and actionable advice you gave us, thank you. Which specific point do you think people least follow through, not allowed to say outsource editing? Shit. I mean, the point people least follow through is one video every week for 2 years. But if I'm not allowed to say that as well, then I think thumbnails. Most people thumbnails are just really, really, really bad, and it's hard to make a good thumbnail. Like it takes some graphic design skills and stuff. But like Canva has a bunch of templates. Graphic River has a bunch of templates. Like even I don't think about thumbnails that hard. Like it's I should take my own advice and think harder about thumbnails. We just don't. But like Charlie from Charisma on Command was saying, the thumbnail is more important than title, because thumbnail is the very first thing that people see. Title is the second thing that people see. And I was like, damn, you're right. That sounds so obvious. But we put 90% of our effort in thinking of the start of a video into the title and like 2%, well, 10% into the thumbnail. It should be more like 50-50 at least in the thumbnail direction. Zach, where do you recommend learning about analytics if that's a deficit you have? Well, we actually have a course about this. Genuinely, it's pretty good. It's got good reviews. If you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. What is it? It's not in our analytics. Aha! Here we go. Here's a link in the chat. We normally have this in the top bar. We should add this to the top bar, I guess, as a reminder. Yeah, people say this is really good. Go through the course. If you don't like it, email us and we'll give you a refund. So yeah. Liana, would you recommend using the same email and domain for newsletter and YouTube, or separate them in terms of building community? The same email and domain name. So the email is irrelevant because like no one knows what the email on your YouTube account is. The domain is also kind of irrelevant because no one knows. People don't go on youtube.com/Ali Abdaal or youtube.com/channel/H2641111 or whatever the channel ID is. Like, so the domain is kind of irrelevant. I think having the same name is useful because, well, it's like with any kind of branding exercise, like the more you can own a brand name, and having the same username across all your social platforms is really helpful. There's a good, this is good. Launch a co. Find the perfect name. I've got a friend who runs this strategy sprints. Let's sort of you can like see exactly like what the domain is taken, what the deal is with the social names, and you can sort of use this to decide on a name. It's not a big deal. Like genuinely, it's really hard to find a name these days where the .com is available and all the social domains are available, and it doesn't sound weird. It's really hard. It's not. It's a 1% optimization. It's not a thing that moves the needle. Zach, how do you handle copyright strikes when you're trying to use content for fair use? Oh, I don't know. I've never been in that position. You should check out Legal Eagle's copyright course. That talks about this extensively because he does this a lot and has like a bunch of issues with it and is like a lawyer and solves this issue for people. So yeah. There's a link to his stuff with like a 50% discount code or something like that on his guest workshop. Pete, I have 2 YouTube channels about different topics. Do you funnel them to one newsletter or 2 different ones? We don't want to think of it as a newsletter. We want to think of it as an email list. Okay, it depends. Pete, what are your YouTube channels and what are they about? Oh, is this Pete Matheson? IT, business type content, and tech. Oh, sweet, that Pete. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of stuff around email that I'm trying to condense into something that sounds pithy. So the way that we do it is that I've got one like general newsletter, which is my Sunday snippets thing, which is, hey guys, every week I'll send you some thoughts about me and what I'm thinking and blah, 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 all that crap. Basically like a personal newsletter that this is what's going on in my life. Here are some links that I like. That personal newsletter is content agnostic. Like it doesn't, if someone vibes with me, then I hope they sign up to the newsletter. But we also have a specific newsletter / segment of the mailing list just for people who are interested in being YouTubers. So that's our part-time YouTuber 7-day crash course thing. I also have a separate segment of the mailing list for people interested in my book. We also have a separate segment of the mailing list about people interested in productivity. All of those people who have opted into the new personal newsletter still get the newsletter, But depending on which segment of the list that they're in, they might potentially get launch emails about the YouTuber Academy or about my book or about the productivity course or whatever. And so that's how I think about the email marketing for the business. So for you, Pete, if you had a personal newsletter, sure, same newsletter, both audiences. But if you had a specific newsletter, if it was like a newsletter for IT business executives, then that's a video that members of the general public wouldn't be interested in. And in fact, if you had a bunch of randoms getting that newsletter and they unsubscribed and they marked it as spam, it would hurt your open rates. It would be bad for you. So I'd be segmenting that. I'd be segmenting your audiences based on the topics that you talk about in the newsletter. But if it's a personal newsletter, kind of like mine, hunky dory. If they like you, they'll like your newsletter. Safe. Will you invite us to your wedding and share the emails you exchange with a person, like when you hired your editor? The thing with inviting people to a wedding, right, is that it's very expensive. And so the answer is probably not, unless I know you in real life and we're mates. But certainly you can join the live stream, which will probably be live streamed on YouTube. And I definitely want to get a videographer for the wedding. Would I share the emails I've exchanged with the person? Honestly, if they were comfortable with it, then yes, because I'd freaking love to. I think it would be a banter video. Be like, here is how we chatted by email. Here's how we chatted on Hinge or whatever. But they would have to be comfortable with it. Like, I have no qualms with it. John, my AdSense account won't get approved and no idea why. This is a policy violation. Any tips? No idea. Haven't the foggiest. Yeah, sorry. I would read the policies and figure out where I'm breaking them. Why did you choose Ghost over WordPress? Oh, because I hate WordPress. I've been using WordPress since like 2009, 2010, and I hate it with a passion. It's just a nightmare. Ghost was a breath of fresh air when I discovered it in 2015. And I really like Ghost. It's simple. It's easy. You don't have to battle with WP admin and bad formatting. I'm being unfair. I'm sure WordPress has evolved since I stopped using it. But I just have such a bad taste in my mouth from all of my years of using WordPress and just not liking the experience that Ghost was like, oh, yes, thank God for that. And Tim, after posting the content of the YouTube video to IG, Facebook, and Twitter, how do you manage all the comments? What app do you use to manage? Is it important to reply to everyone? Thanks. I don't use any app to manage the comments. I use the apps on my phone. Is it important to reply to everyone? I think in the early days of a channel, probably. I don't think it would move the needle. But it's not a 1% optimization. Probably more like a 5 to 10% optimization. I'm plucking a number out of thin air, but like it's not so insignificant that you shouldn't bother at all. But it's also not so big a deal that you should spend 2 hours a day doing it. I was replying to all of my Instagram DMs and all my YouTube comments up until like 20,000 subscribers, and that was when it just became too much to handle. And Gary Vaynerchuk says that you should be replying to absolutely everything, and Gary Vaynerchuk knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I mean, the way I see it, if someone has taken the time to comment on your video, and your channel is small, and they know that your channel is small because it's really freaking obvious that your channel is small, then the fact that you have replied to them will make them think, oh, community, wow, this is nice. I like this channel more. Would I hire someone to just reply to comments on my YouTube channel? Probably not. Maybe. I feel like people would clock that I've just hired someone for it. Like it would have less of a good effect because it's obvious that I am not personally the one replying to all the comments. But I do still try and heart every comment that I see, because then people get a notification that, oh, Ali Abdaal has loved your comment, and they're like, oh my God, Ali Abdaal noticed me. Yes, all that kind of stuff. So short answer, yes, I think you should reply to every comment because people are giving you your time to watch your videos while your channel is small, and that's really nice. But over time, it's not a needle moving optimization, especially as your channel grows and it becomes less of a. It becomes like a, oh my God, you replied to my comment, rather than a, oh, that's kind of cool, if that makes sense. Anyway, my voice is now on the verge of disappearing. So that brings us to the end of the course. Thank you again, everyone, for allowing us to be with you on this journey. We've had a fun time. It's been great. I know Angus and Elizabeth and the rest of the team have had an absolute blast hanging out with you all, as have I. It's been really fun. Angus, any words you want to share? Any words you want to say? Anything inspirational? I'll mute myself so we don't get feedback.
There we go. Yeah, no, it's been good. As usual, another fantastic cohort. Always seems to surpass the previous one. So well done, cohort 3. Probably better than cohort 2. Anyone who's seen cohort 2 here, then But yeah, no, it does get better each time, and it's been really good. Time seems to fly. So yeah, really good having you all on, and hopefully you all join the community as well afterwards and carry on engaging with P2A and everyone else, because that's what we're going to be trying to do, build the community around 1,000 people already. So yeah, hope to see you carrying on. Certainly not the end. Oh, bloody hell.
Sick. Yeah. Community. Yeah, it's good. Launching officially, I think, on July the 26th with a probably guest workshop. We've got the other guest workshop with the Dragon Fruit guys on July the 30th. We're trying to do 1 or 2 community events every single week for the next like 5 years. And you will have access to all of them for free forever, because you are our students and our alumni for life now. We're also launching our Part-Time YouTuber Academy YouTube channel, where we would love for you guys to submit videos about your YouTube journey and stuff. That can be like educational content for people wanting to start on YouTube. And now that you've been through the course and you've started YouTube or grown on YouTube or scaled your channel, if you've got 100K plus subs or whatever, whichever stage of the journey you're at, you have stuff that you could teach people who are one step behind you in the journey. And so we'd love for you to potentially make videos about that. We'll be giving you more details about that in the community type side of things, but yeah, very keen on that. So start having a think about like, hey, if you were to have a video on Part-Time YouTuber Academy YouTube channel, which would then link to your main channel, which might be a good source of traffic, what is the thing about YouTube that you would teach someone who is one step behind you in the journey? Obviously, we're going to have a quality requirement here. Like it needs to be an actually good video. So, but yeah, what else? That'll be fun. The community is going to be good. We'll be seeing you, hopefully more of you, if you want to join the community events. But to be honest, the point of the community is not for it to be another source of procrastination or yet another source of content that you have to watch. The point of the community is so that we can all help one another on this journey for the next like 5-10 years about being part-time YouTubers, and the accountability and all the community stuff that comes with that. We're going to be doing probably a physical in-person event sometime towards the end of the year, maybe like a Christmas ball, Christmas party, something like that in London. We'll give you more details closer to the time. There are physical meetups happening. I think cohort 2 does a few of them. There's actually one happening like middle of August that I got a calendar invite for the other day. That should be fun. So it's cool. We're part of this community forever. Thank you again for joining us on the course. Hope you found it really helpful. Please do fill out the survey. If you didn't find the course helpful, please fill out the survey and tell us, and we'd love to improve things and help sort things out. If there's stuff that you wanted to cover that wasn't covered, again, email us. We're here for you. We're here for you forever. But otherwise, all the best on your YouTube journeys. I hope you have a fantastic time, and I hope you continue YouTube for the next 2 years at least and have fun along the way. So thanks again for being part of the journey, and for letting us to be a part of your journey. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Academy Awards and after party. Bye-bye.